I want people likes to see my crocheted stuff I make, so I wanted to show my crocheted cake I made for mine and my husband's 50th wedding anniversary. It was in one of my crochet books. I think it was a 75th year celebration for Red Heart Yarn Company, where I got the pattern.
You made that in 2014.
I guess so.
That was the 50th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful, big cake. We did have an actual real cake to eat, though. Granny made a holy smoke cake.
To eat.
Yeah. But the crocheted one was really pretty, though. And Granny still has it put up. She took the stuffing out of it and has it put up somewhere, don't you?
Well, I took it apart, and then I gave some of the roses away, and I still have some of them. So I didn't have no place to store it altogether. It was so big.
So today is actually their anniversary, and that would be how many years? If Daddy had lived?
Actually, we lived together 52 years, but we celebrated on our 50th.
Yeah, but I mean today, what would that be this year? What would it be if he had lived? How many years would that be? Let's see, let's add it up.
He's been gone since 2016.
Yeah.
He died in 2016.
And that was 52. He's been gone 7 years, so 59 years. You'd be coming up on your 60th wedding anniversary if he had lived.
I still wish he was here, but he had heart trouble, and I'm thankful I had him as long as I did.
He was a good one.
Very good.
So what else have you been doing besides that you wanted to talk about? Granny, if you can hear something running, that's Granny's heater. We're having, I guess this is blackberry winter. My blackberries are blooming. It's in the 30s this morning. It's been chilly for the past couple of days. So one thing Granny wanted to show you was her spring coat that she's made. All these beautiful, beautiful colors. Granny's made several of these types of coats. It's kind of like a patchwork or a coat of many colors. Love the big buttons that she puts on them too, and she's made them for Corey and Katie and for me. And what have you got, a winter one, a spring one, and a fall one? Yeah, different colors. And if you're interested in making one of them, this is the book that the pattern's actually in. It's Crochet in Color by Kathy Merrick, and that's what the book looks like. How long have you been making these, the coats like this?
Several years.
Yeah.
But some woman asked me how long it took me to make one, and I said, well, I really don't know, but it depends on if my husband, how many times he wants to cook supper and let me crochet. He liked to cook, and sometimes he'd volunteer to cook supper. But I haven't made one in a long time.
Well, this spring, this cold weather like the blackberry winter we're having is when you need this pretty spring one. Usually have a cold spell at Easter too. We did. This is another one that she's been working on. She's been making some of these sweaters. She made a birthday one, and also this pretty turquoise looking color. These are really pretty. And she made me one like this too. And the pattern for it, actually, the pattern was for a little girl's sweater, you said?
A little girl and her doll.
And her doll.
One for her doll.
And you did make little ones for your granddaughters, great-granddaughters, didn't you, and their dolls? Yeah. What color did you make them?
Just off-white.
Just off-white, yeah. And I think you told me this pattern was in a magazine?
It's the same one in Quick and Easy Crochet fall of 2014.
Okay, Quick and Easy Crochet 2014. You might be able to find that on the interwebs, as Corey and Katie say, on eBay or something like that. Or maybe you have a back issue of it. But Granny just enlarged the pattern for her size and my size. Who else? Have you made any others this size?
I've made several.
Yeah.
Well, I made them for last Christmas.
Yeah, you made everybody one then, but you've kind of been back making them now for a little bit. Yeah.
They're the easiest sweater I've ever made. That's the reason I like to make them. They're easier, faster to crochet. I like something I can do pretty quick and start something else.
So we have a video that kind of tells how Granny and Pap met, to go back to Pap, but you only dated a few short 3 months or something like that?
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months, and then to be married for 52 years when he passed away. And of course, if he hadn't passed away, you'd still be married. So pretty good accomplishment for a 3-month investment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
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 Seems like it was just yesterday, and then I guess in another way, seems like it's a lifetime ago.
I still miss him and still remember things he told me and the way he did stuff.
You still wish he's here to cook for you?
Yeah, I still wish he was here.
Yeah. And to help us with the garden and all kinds of stuff.
I was trying to get caught up on my crocheting before this summer. In the summertime, I just like to can green beans, and I don't have no time to crochet. So I'm hoping to get to canned green beans. And I had forgotten how my mother used to cook green beans. She'd have fresh green beans and put little small new potatoes in them when she cooked them, and I'd forgot that for a while. And my niece reminded me how good they were, and so that's what we had for Sunday dinner, and they were really, really good. If you wanted to try it sometime, put your little small potatoes in the green beans while they're cooking, and it's really good.
When I took Granny, had to take her to the doctor last week, we stopped at the produce stand in Peachtree Produce. We really there's really kind folks, we really like them. Anyway, and Granny was able to get some fresh green beans there, so that's what you cooked, wasn't it, for Sunday?
And I got the little potatoes there too, because they were new potatoes.
So farther south, of course, people are already having their gardens. We're chomping at the bit, but not ready yet. We've not even got Granny's plowed yet. We're going to have to till Granny's up and get her some stuff planted. What are you looking forward to most in the garden besides the green beans?
Tomatoes and onions and cornfield beans. I want to plant some cornfield beans.
Yeah.
I never had eaten any cornfield beans till I bought some from one of my neighbors, and I really like them. I like white half runners. It's hard for me to say which one I like the best, but I never had eaten any cornfield beans till I bought some from my neighbor. He made a big garden and sold some of his stuff, and he would grow my favorite corn, which is Silver Queen. I'd get corn from him, and he's cut down on the size of his garden now that he's got older, but if he has some extra corn, he usually brings me some.
When Granny Gazzy made green beans, what did she like the best? Was it white half runners, what she liked, or did she have access to the cornfield beans too?
No, she didn't have any cornfield beans. She liked the white half runners. Most people don't have cornfield beans. You can't buy the seed in a store. My neighbor, his grandparents, that's all they'd plant was cornfield beans, and that's how he come to like them. And
He still plants the seed that's been handed down in his family. I think some of the specialty kind of bean savers or seed savers online, you might be able to find the Cornfield Beans, Southern Seed Saver, or one of those places. You might be able to, but Granny, our neighbor Tim, and his family, they've just handed down the seed, and he grows enough to keep his seed for the next year. So he's probably, well, I mean, he's obviously the third generation of his family growing them, but it probably goes even beyond that, probably even before Clarence and Ruby. Well, what else have you been up to besides your crocheting? We did plant a few little flower things for you. We got that done outside.
Well, I hadn't done a whole lot. Crocheting takes up a lot of my time, just some cooking and my son, he's like his father. He likes to cook, and sometimes he'll cook, and I'll just crochet while he cooks.
While he cooks. Well, that's a good deal.
So
he's a good son, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard a woman on a commercial, she said it's a blessing to be 85 years old. And I'm only 83, but it's still really a blessing.
Yeah, we're really blessed to still have you. Crocheting queen. Crocheting and green bean queen.
A lot of people can beat me crocheting,
Yeah.
but I enjoy what I can do.
Yeah, I don't know. You do a pretty good job, and I don't know anybody can beat you on the green beans.
Mama's green beans was awful good, and I'm sure Mama's were too. But
Katie was here just a little bit ago, and she ate all the green beans Granny had left over. And her little great-granddaughters, when they come, especially one of them, that's what she wants, to go straight to the green beans if there's any left. She loves the green beans. And I remember her uncle, Mark, would be the little girl's uncle, he liked them. I think we've got a picture somewhere of him just with the pot, eating them out of the pot. You remember that little picture? We set the pot in the little chair in the kitchen down at his level, and he's just spooning them in.
I don't remember that picture, but
I'll have to find
I know he
it.
did.
I think I've got it. I'll have to find it and show
He
it to
would
you.
eat every little bean on his plate.
He loved them.
A good little eater.
Yeah. So we all enjoy Granny's green beans, and now that summer's getting closer, we'll enjoy the fresh ones. We love the canned ones, though. Have you about eat up all your canned ones?
I've still got a few.
Few jars. Whenever we get together, that's what we all say. Granny has to bring the green beans.
And that's one of the easiest things to fix.
I know, but you make them so good somehow. A lot of things like that, I'll say, I've told people that before, and they say, well, it's because she does it with love. It's got love in it. That's your secret ingredient.
One of my friends told me that the trick to cooking good green beans is you have to cook them a long time if they're fresh, and that's true.
That's the way in the South and in Appalachia. That's how we like them. We like them cooked really soft. I know in other places they like them actually where they're still crisp. But it's just personal preference. Of course, they have those same fond memories and love for green beans that we do. We just like them in a different way. We like them cooked a long time. Yeah. And usually like them with some cornbread and maybe some potatoes. One time, though, you ate too many potatoes, didn't you?
No, that was
With peas?
peas, green peas and potatoes.
Yeah.
When I was a little girl, I got foundered on them. I was so sick, and for a long time I didn't want any more peas and potatoes. But I finally got over it.
So that's another common dish.
But they are
It's
really good together, too.
To eat spring peas and potatoes, new potatoes with mixed up together, kind of like Granny was talking about the green beans. So they were just so good you couldn't quit eating them when you was a little girl?
Yeah, I must have been hungry, and Mama didn't pay me any attention, or she might have said stop, but she didn't. And I just ate too many. It made me sick.
You laid out on the porch, didn't you?
I was really sick. I laid on the porch and throwed up. It's better even at any age not to eat too much.
That's true, yeah. Your brother James took care of you, though, while you were sick. He encouraged you that you wasn't going to die, didn't he?
I was so sick, I told my little brother, I'm so sick, I'm going to die. And he said, no, you're not. I'll go get you some water and soda crackers. And he did. And I got to feeling better. And to this day, I love just water and soda crackers.
Sweet memory, even though you were sick. Sorry you were sick, but sweet memory about James taking care of you. Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed seeing Granny's cake that she made for her and Pap's 50th wedding anniversary. She just thought it would be nice to share that with you, and she wanted me just to share the picture, and I said, well, what would be better is if you talk a little bit so that you can tell about making it and talk about Daddy for a little bit. So I hope that you enjoyed visiting with us, and as always, we hope you'll drop back by to help us celebrate Appalachia, which is a whole lot of family and stories and memories and gardening and crocheting for our family. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We need a thumbnail or something, so help us do that, and then we'll leave Granny go on.
What do you need?
I guess maybe hold up the... Well, I mean, do you have a picture of the...
Yeah, we do.
Have a
It's like
picture?
this way. I don't know how I guess I could use it and then put like some stuff over it. Let's just smile at the camera.
Yeah. That'd be good if you could clip that out like y'all are talking. And then on the side put the
Was
picture.
Granny looking at it and smiling?
It looked like she was, as long as you look into the lens, that big circle.
Are you smiling, Granny?
Yeah.
Smiling as much as she can.
Alright. I guess that'll work.
Yeah.
Okay. You're getting to be a movie star.
Oh, gosh.
Granny's always a
Granny's
movie
got
star.
fans. People like you because you remind them of their grandmother, you know. We're just lucky to
You're the quintessential
have you for
granny.
ours. Yeah, quintessential granny. We're lucky to have you for ours, especially when you make these beautiful creations. I really love the buttons on this one. They're like little
I
flowers.
know, I like the flowers.
But I like the big buttons on that one too, on the that one.
Spring coat.
Yeah, yeah. Or on your off-color one you made like this one. They're pretty too.
Yeah, if you use the wooden buttons, you don't have to worry about matching up the color.
That's true. I like those big ones because they're easier to button. Sometimes buttons on crochet, if they're not big, they pull back through, you know. If they're little,
Yeah.
they don't. What you gonna do now, crochet?
I've started a new sweater pattern,
You trying to figure it out?
and when you're learning a new pattern, it takes longer to make one, so that's what I've been working on.
Maybe we can get Matt to till your garden up this week and get you some.
We need to get the onions planted.
I know. I've got onions at my house, but I don't have none down. We hadn't planted you none. We need to get on it, don't we?
I got some Vidalia onions at the market, and I really like them too.
Yeah, that you sent me home with that one. Well, I made a little salad that night, like the tomatoes and cucumbers and onion. Matt said, "Where'd this onion come from?" I said, "Why? Do you like it?" And he said, "Yeah, it's really good. Where'd it come from?" And I said, "Well, I knew he could tell a difference, I said, Granny bought them at the produce stand, and she gave me one of them. So he could tell it was better than what we'd been
You
eating.
I can just sit and eat them. The Vidalia onions.
Yeah.
really like 'em.
Didn't y'all say that Big Grandma ate an onion every day?
She'd eat one in the afternoon, they said. about every day. She's like me. She really liked onions, and I do too.
It's supposed to be good for you.
I think they are good for you.
I reckon that's why she ate. Well, she liked them, but reckon she thought they were good for her too.
She probably did.
How old was she when she died?
84.
84.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she wasn't as healthy as you are, though, because she was bedridden, wasn't she, at the end?
Mm-hmm. Well, she wasn't bedridden. It hurt. Her back hurt, and so she had to lie down
A
lot with her back, and then she'd get up and do whatever she wanted to do. She'd always have a cake made, and then she could just do what she wanted to do and lie back down.
Did she die at home or in the hospital?
She was in the hospital, but she died. She had a massive heart attack.
I can barely remember, mostly what I remember. I mean, I remember her just barely, and then I remember being in the garden with her, and then in the flower garden, her flowers. And then I can remember her being in there in the Mama's house. And then the only thing I remember about her dying was I remember, the gal being real upset, crying, and because she was older and understood, and I was just thinking, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying? Yeah, that's all I remember, though. I don't remember a funeral or nothing like that. Well, you've already eaten your dinner?
Yeah, I had some of the beans and potatoes, then I had some meatballs and pasta, then I had strawberry shortcake, so
you had a good dinner.
I had a good lunch today.
Yeah, you just eat it awful early, but you get up awful early. What time you eat breakfast, 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock. So by 10 o'clock, I'm hungry again. But this morning I made it longer. I made it to lunchtime. Because I knew I had to save the beans and potatoes and the meatballs and pasta.
Well, all right. We'll let you get back to your crochet.